You're trying to stay calm, trying to be the man your wife respects. But inside, your heart's pounding, your thoughts are racing, and all you want is to make the pain stop. That pit in your stomach when she pulls away, the way she looks at you like you're the problem, the silence, the coldness, the conversations that feel like landmines. The woman who once adored you now barely looks at you in your direction. So what do? You go into fix-it mode. You analyze. You try to find the perfect thing to say, but neither her mood or demeanor changes. Because the real problem is you're ignoring the very system that's trying to guide you. It's called the ISS. And if you don't learn how to tap into it, you'll keep reacting, overthinking, and losing the very connection you're trying to save. This is the first real step to saving your marriage, the one that no one talks about. So in this video, I'll break down how to use your ISS to transform the relationship. So she not only sees the man who's trying, but she feels a man that she can trust again, a man she still wants. And at the end, I'll share a simple check-in that you can do with 10 seconds that'll instantly change the energy between you two, even if she's still distant and cold right now. So let's jump in. Your ISS is a built-in signal system. It's the missing bridge between reactivity and grounded masculine leadership. It's what separates the man she feels safe surrendering to from the boy that she has to emotionally babysit. Once you tap into your ISS, it's like tapping into hidden comms channel. Suddenly the emotional static just becomes clear to you. You're able to pick up on signals your wife has been broadcasting for years, ones you've never noticed or always missed. You'll start hearing her, not just listening, feeling her energy shift before it even becomes words, and responding not from defense or fear, but from grounded magnetic presence. She will soften, she opens up, and she leans in. You become a man who isn't ruled by emotional chaos anymore. You stop outsourcing your confidence to her moods, and you stop living in your head. This is the upgrade that shifts it all. Well, let's tell you what ISS is through Jeremy's story. You see, he could have slapped himself for what just unfolded in front of him. His wife shook her head and said, in a very flat tone, "You haven't changed at all." Weeks of efforts. The books, the late night videos, he white-knuckled restraint, shattered in one moment. All she was doing was venting, talking about a tough day at work. But Jeremy was fried. He'd just come off a brutal meeting with his boss and he hadn't eaten all day. He was on the edge, of course, right? His physiological system was stressed out. Then she said something innocent, even sarcastic, something like, "You probably don't get what it's like." And that triggered something deep in him, just something subconscious, a feeling of inadequacy, disrespect, maybe even a touch of shame. But before he could stop it, he cut her off. "You don't think I work hard? You think I just sit around here all day doing nothing?" He got defensive. It was a comment that wasn't even about him, but he made it about him. Again, he took it personally. Later he just thought to himself, "You idiot, why do you keep on doing this?" His mind was so used to spinning stories about her that she didn't appreciate him enough, that she only saw the negative in him, that nothing he ever did was enough. But deep down, Jeremy knew it wasn't her comments that were sabotaging the marriage. It was his reaction to them, the tone, the energy, the pushback. Their marriage hung by a thread. And if he didn't change how he responded, how he felt through the tension, the whole thing was gonna break. What Jeremy hadn't learned yet was that his body was already trying to guide him. Your internal signal system. Every man has an ISS. That system, look, most don't just know how to use it, but it's there. It's not spiritual in nature. Think of it like a real-time radar picking up on signals. Tension, shifts, and energy, you have that intuitive sense much as she does. It's just us men never really use it. It's your body's way of giving you instant emotional feedback before your brain tries to make sense of what's happening and jumps in with a story around it. When you feel that tightness in your chest or a lump in your throat or that pit in your stomach? Well, that's your ISS trying to communicate something to you. However, most men just bypass that signal. They go straight to thinking, why is she doing this? What do I need to say next? And how do I fix this? And when you ignore your ISS, you either overreact to her moods, you'll collapse under pressure, or you'll go numb and just check out. You're trying to lead, you're trying to stay calm, but your nervous system is scrambled, and she can feel that. So the first step is learning to notice that signal. And when you do, you stop reacting and start responding like the man she can trust again. But if tuning into your ISS feels unfamiliar or even uncomfortable, you're not really alone. See, and that's because most men were never taught how to feel. And what's worse is that we were actually taught how to run from our emotions, most of them at least. So the second part of this is how we avoid the ISS. From a young age, you were told that certain emotions like vulnerability or anger, or it's different for most men, that they're weak. Don't cry, suck it up. Hey, be a man, like deal with it yourself, like overcome this, right? And there's a lot of benefit to that. There is, for sure. But the downside is that you suppressed parts of yourself that now you don't realize when it's actually coming up for you. You'll oftentimes intellectualize and just use logic to mask those emotions. So now as a man, when you get upset, you try to fix it. You feel off, you push through, you don't slow down enough to really feel what's actually happening. But your brain cannot solve what your body has not processed. Your brain cannot solve what your body has not processed. So if you don't feel your emotions, you'll react to hers. You see what I mean? You'll find yourself walking on eggshells or trying to calm her down so you can feel better. And the worst one is just shutting down completely and labeling it as, well, I'm just being stoic. Emotional suppression might look like strength on the outside, but it's just a form of control. And control kills connection. You're trying to hold your frame, trying to be calm and grounded, but you can't hold a frame if you don't know what's happening inside of it. I want you to think of your ISS as, let's say, an internal compass of sorts. If you never check it, you'll keep getting lost, reacting, wondering why she doesn't trust your leadership. I mean, how can she trust your direction if you're not even sure which way you're facing? You see what I mean? That's what the ISS gives you. So to her, the disconnection doesn't just feel safe or steady, it feels off. Even if she can't explain why, she might say you feel distant or that you're emotionally unavailable. But really, she's picking up on the fact that you're not available to yourself, okay? And until you tune into that ISS, nothing's gonna change. So let's learn how to do that. Let me read you something real quick that one of the men in our program shared, okay, in our private group. It was a moment of clarity from a man who finally stopped thinking and started to really use his ISS. He said, I have something that I wanna put out there to the world. Today I discovered how to consciously feel. I'm sharing this because I want to continue to do this. I've been avoiding my feelings for far too long, thinking that I really wasn't. I learned that if I put my hand on my chest and take a deep breath, I can stay in my body. Because the problem is, I always go directly to my brain, and I oftentimes overthink. I'm learning how to use my brain and my feelings together, and that's it right there. He didn't have some huge emotional breakthrough, okay? He didn't need 10 years of therapy. He just paused long enough to let his body speak before his brain took over. And to do this, you just simply need practice. Practice tuning into your signals of your body. And I mean, it's sending it to you all the time. We hold stress in our body. That stress is signaling something to you, okay? So let's talk about more practically how to do this for you. You gotta pause first and create space before reacting. Take a deep breath and let the moment land. Even right now, if you put your hand on your heart and just breathe. Bring back awareness to your body. This will ground you physically and emotionally. Recognize how you feel in your body. Where are you tight? Where are you holding tension? And what does that tension want? What does it need? And then you have to name the sensation. Don't create a story around it. Not I'm anxious or I'm this, I'm that, right? Just label the signal. Tight chest, burning stomach, pressure behind my eyes. My jaw feels locked. And then just observe it without fixing it. Let it exist. Let it speak to you. And then I want you to try something crazy, but just ask, what does this signal know? What does it want me to do? What is underneath this sensation? You don't have to overanalyze. You just have to feel it, okay? Allow it to be. There is infinite information there that you're not understanding. When you do this consistently, you will become more of yourself, which is ultimately what she wants. And I want to talk to you about why this changes the way that she responds to you, and more importantly, how it changed things for Jeremy. When you start tuning to the ISS, there is an undeniable shift, okay? You stop chasing her validation. You stop trying to prove that you're okay. You stop reacting to her emotions like they're threats to you. Instead, you become still, not shut down, not distant, but rooted. You lead and carry yourself with quiet, grounded clarity because you actually know what's happening inside of you. It's like that scene in Bourne Identity with Matthew Damon, right? When Jason Bourne is sitting in the diner, okay, completely calm, but he knows everything that's going on around him. I love that scene. It's one of my favorites.
I can tell you the license plate numbers of all 6 cars outside. I can tell you that our waitress is left-handed and the guy sitting up at the counter weighs 215 pounds and knows how to handle himself. I know the best place to look for a gun is the cab of the gray truck outside. And at this altitude, I can run flat out for a half mile before my hands start shaking. Now, why would I know that?
He's not posturing, he's not reacting, he's just aware of everything, every little detail in his environment, right? He's not inside of himself, his head, he's in the environment. And that's what makes him powerful. That's the same energy, okay? When you're that tuned in, not to the room, but to yourself, it informs how you show up with her. She opens up, she leans in, because You stopped really leaking insecurity. You stopped making her the regulatory system of your emotional world. The more attuned you are to your ISS, the more your wife can really relax into her feminine energy because she knows someone's home. And when you're not in your head, you are connected to her. Think of it. Where your energy is, that's where the connection is. So when you can look at her in the eyes with nothing going on in here, you're present with her. And the more you do that, the more she starts to see you differently, okay? Now with Jeremy, the part 2 of his story, he was standing at the kitchen sink one day, right? Rinsing off dinner plates when his wife walked in. She didn't look angry, just tense. The kind of tension that he used to feel responsible for in the past. The kind that used to make him feel that tightness in his chest and scrambling for solutions. I remember him saying, she said, I had to deal with everything again today. Setting her bag down on the counter. It's like no one at work listens and I just completely lose it. Then she changed the subject. My God, the kitchen is still a mess and you still haven't taken the recycling out? He felt it again, that little spark, right? The one that used to just lead him straight into defense or retreat. The part of him that wanted to say, you think I don't deal with stuff too? But this time, he didn't say that. He paused. He took a deep breath in the nose, out the mouth, hand on the edge of the sink. He felt grounded. He felt the tension and rising in his chest. He noticed the tightness in his jaw, but he didn't try to fix it. He didn't try to fix her. He let it just be there. And then he said quietly, man, that sounds exhausting. I'm really sorry you had to deal with that all day. That was it. No lecture, no counter story, no subtle jab about how he had to work too. And for the first time in a long time, she didn't roll her eyes. She didn't shut down. She actually softened a bit. She leaned against the counter and looked at him, saying, thank you. And then they stood there for a moment in silence and just connected. Jeremy wasn't reacting from old patterns. He was present and attuned to her. This is the foundation. You can't lead if you're not present. It all starts here. So learn how to tap into the ISS. There's a video here talking about how to master your emotions. This will help with the ISS. And by the way, you can set up a call with our team, a free strategy call. Now these strategy calls are very limited week by week. So make sure you're fully committed to taking action. Click the link down below and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.